Really poor time. We're going to open up this cat, and we're going to do it in a manner like the old space shuttles before they took them out of service. You remember when they used to do a spacewalk, and the bay doors would go, and then the little spaceman would come out on the tether, and then all the other people would pray he didn't break free and go. It's not really it. Trying to video here. All right. Now, all you have to do here is we're going to come down to where the pelvis is, and I just need you to kind of work with your fingers until you just have the skin. And look for the midline, if I stretch this out. Okay, you want to look right down the midline, right where the two muscles come, right there. Now, whether you have a boy cat or a girl cat, there's going to be some fat down here, and then maybe some other ligaments and connective tissue. Do not get into that. Leave that pristine, okay? Everybody watch the screen? All right, so you're just going to take your fingers and just kind of work that up. And then you'll be able to feel the intestinal tract right under there. It's the solid part. So we have just skin. I'm going to come up about a ½ inch from where it's flat into the pelvis right here, ½ inch. I'm going to invert my scissors straight up and down, 90 degrees to the tissue. And I'm just going to go, oh, I don't know, to ½ centimeter. And I'm going to make a hole, okay? Look at that. I'm going to make a hole, and so you can see there's a hole right there. Everybody see that? There's a hole.
That's a hole.
That's all we need, okay? Then I'm going to take my scissors, and this will not take long. Round side down, okay? And you want to just make sure you got some solid up pressure. If you're concerned about that, just take your forceps and put them right in the hole like this. And I want you to go down the midline, right up, and I'll keep pulling this forward so you can see this. We're going to go down the midline right up to where the two xiphohumerales muscles come together. Do you see them coming right here? And we're actually going to come, there's the end of them, but we're going to come up about 1 inch right into them. That way we can make side cuts without disconnecting them, okay? So don't look at your cat, just watch this. So I'm just going to do a midline incision, round side down, and you can see this seems very easy. Stay as close to the midline as possible. And I'm going to go 1 inch up into Zippy. And you'll actually feel where it starts to get into a big glob of fat under there, and then the end of the xiphoid process. You'll feel the bone. Okay, so I'm going to stop right there. Okay, that's on camera, good. Now we're going to do the side cuts. So I'm going to take my bottom incision, remember where the hole was? I'm going to take that right down to the beginning of the fat. Okay, so I don't know if I can keep my hand out of the way. I don't think I can. I'm just going to finish that cut, right? Just a tiny little piece right there. Then I'm going to go and follow the hip line down both sides, okay? I'll tilt this towards the camera so you can see it. I got you. I'm on view I'm just taping. So watch, I'm going to go right along the hip line. Just follow it right out. And keep some up pressure. See how I'm holding up with the forceps? Keep some up pressure, because if I open it up, do you see that thing right there? Right there? Right there. Well, that's a glob of fat, and then that right there is the bladder, so we don't want to destroy that. And then there's a little connective tissue attached to the bladder, keeps it from jumping around in there. And then I'm going to take this back towards the hip, just like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. When you watch this on YouTube, you will really be able to see the line I'm doing. I'm just following the hip right through that fat right there. You can see, oh, this cat is really first in the chow line. Okay. So I got those two flaps, but I want to have nice bay doors, so I'm going to go up to the top. Go up to the top. Now here's what people were doing, and for whatever reason in period 1, and I'm selling them out on video. I mean, I'm going to hear about it on YouTube. For whatever reason, they were doing these back-angled cuts. No. I want you to go 90 degrees. I want you to just go straight down. And then you can feel, what are these here?
Ribs.
Those are the ribs. And then people are like, well, I'm going to cut a rib. I don't care. The cat's dead. We're not going to put it back together. Okay? This isn't Humpty Dumpty. Come on, that was a good reference. So there's I'm just going to go watch. Straight towards the vertebral column. And don't come up short. Just, ooh, liver.
Ooh, it's blue.
That's a blown injection. That's actually nothing. Did you hear me hit that rib?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now look, see I got a big giant flap. Look at that. Big flap. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm just going to go straight at 90 degrees. If I cut a rib, okay. No big deal. And then we have it open like that. So now this looks like the ears from a basset hound in the wind. So now here's what we do. When we're working on it, we open up the bay doors, let the astronaut out, and then when we're done, we put him back in and close it up. Boop. And then we would do our cleanup the same way we did before.
A tortilla.
Okay. Yeah. Now, here's what we're going to do. Remember I talked about the omentum, greater and lesser omentum. Do you see this weird, all this fatty stuff?
Yeah. Oh, is that
That's the connective tissue that's on the digestive organs. That would be the next step. Okay, once we do the instruction in class, I'll videotape that and how to get the chest open, and tomorrow we can start working on that independently. What do you think? All right, we're going to remove the omentum. That's a piece of connective tissue that's covering the digestive tract. It's attached on 3 organs, spleen, pancreas, and stomach, and we'll have to remove it. Throw me a pair of scissors real quick.
like actually throw?
I almost caught that. I'll edit that out. All right, so at the bottom, it's nice and loose, okay? All you have to do with your fingers is work it up. See how I just picked the edge of it up? And you can see how shiny and greasy everything is from all this fat. And what you want to do is just gently pick it up. And then when you pull it out, see I can't pull it out. Here's the spleen down the left-hand side. It's attached there. This big bag right here is the stomach. You can see it's sticking out right there. And then if I lift this up, there's another organ right there. Oops, let me come down. Right there, and then the tail of it sticking out. That's the pancreas. And here's how you want to do this. It's a 3-step process, okay? Pull your spleen out so you can see the whole thing. The spleen. We're gonna make an inside cut about 3/4 of the way up. Real simple. Start at the bottom. Stay right along the spleen. Right along the spleen. And when you're in here, you'll be able to see this. Now be careful. You don't want to cut the tail of the pancreas, which is right there. Right there. So I'm going to put the tail of the pancreas in my hand. And I'm just going to go right over the top of all that. You see how the spleen is loosening up? Boom. How far am I going up? 3/4 of the way. I'm going to go a little further. Just keep checking the outside and see where you're at. Now once I'm there, I'm going to put my finger up into this back corner. Put my finger up into the back corner. And I'm going to pull all that down towards me. Now you can see the edge of the spleen. See it? Once I have that gathered, I'm going to go straight over to the stomach. Watch. Pancreas is still under my thumb. Straight over to the stomach. Boom. And then it's really thin tissue. Stomach is shaped like a J-hook. I'm going to go around the corner. I'm just going to keep following the stomach. Pancreas is still under my thumb. All right, so we're going to go straight from the spleen over to the stomach, and then there's just real light tissue. We're going to follow that stomach line. I'm going to tilt the cat towards you. And we want to keep going around the corner of the stomach. You can see it, just kind of give it a nudge, and you can see where it's at. And then eventually, that'll pull loose from the stomach. All right, so now the omentum is off of the stomach altogether here, okay? Now the last thing we have to do is get it off of the pancreas, but the issue is you can't see the pancreas from this top view, so you need to gather this whole thing in your hand like that. Let me turn this towards you, okay? And then you can be able to see, it's going to be tough on camera, but you can see right through, this is like paper thin, and you can actually take your fingers and feel the pancreas. It's right there. It'll kind of look like really brainy material. Right there. So I'm going to find the end of it. Then I'm going to take my scissors. Pick them up here again. And then I'm looking at the edge of the pancreas. Again, very difficult probably to see on the camera there. And then I'm just going to lightly take this tissue. And again, just keep checking for where that pancreas is. I'm just going to liberate the pancreas. And if you put a little pressure, this really should just come right off in your hand. Boom. Now I'm going to follow the pancreas until I have this whole thing off. Right, like, and watch. Whammo. There is the omentum that was supporting the internal organs. Okay? So just ball that up. We're going to throw that away. And then once we have that open, we can work on opening the chest cavity.